Hey guys, today we're going to look at ratio tables. Our objective is I can make and use a ratio table. So a ratio table is going to help us organize our ratios and compare them at equivalent rates. Okay? Equivalent rates are going to sound like equivalent fractions, and they're sort of the same thing, and we'll talk about that. First thing we have to know is a unit rate. This tells us we will have a 1 in the denominator. An example is 3 lemons to 1 sugar is our ratio of 3 to 1. The unit rate means that for every 3 lemons, we need 1 sugar. Knowing a unit rate will help us in completing a table. So here we have a ratio table of dogs to cats. And our unit rate here is 3 to 1. Right? We want to find equivalent ratios that help us, in case we have bigger numbers of dogs, we'll see how many cats we can have. Okay, so we either get bigger by multiplying or smaller by dividing. So in this case, we're going 3 to 6. That tells us we're getting bigger. That tells us we're multiplying. And if we look, we do what times 3 is 6? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. So we do the same thing on the bottom, just like equivalent fractions. 1 times 2 is 2. So 6 dogs for every 2 cats. On the bottom here, we have 9 cats. Well, how did we go from 1 to 9? It's bigger, so we multiplied. 1 times 9 is 9. So on top, we do 3 times 9, which is 27. All right. And up here, dogs, we have 36. We got to figure out how many cats we have. How did we go from 3 to 36? Okay, 3 times 12 is 36. So on the bottom, 1 times 12 is 12. So for every 36 dogs, we have 12 cats. Okay, next, example 2, we're going to look at pencils versus pens. So remember I said that you could multiply or divide depending on if you're getting bigger or smaller. Here for pencils, we're going from 12 to 3. That means we're getting smaller. So what do we do to go from 12 to 3? Well, that tells us we divide. 12 divided by what is 3? That's 4. So up here I put divided by 4. On the bottom I have to do the same thing, divide by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. How do I go from 8 to 16? Well, I'm getting bigger, so that tells me that I'm multiplying. 8 times what is 16? Well, that's times 2. So on the bottom, times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 pencils for every 16 pens. Lastly, on the bottom here, example 3, we have your uncle pays you $35 for every 4 hours of work. You work 12 hours on Saturday. How much does your uncle owe you? Okay. Well, here's our ratio table right here. We have money on top, hours on the bottom. So if we go back to our question, we have $35 for every 4 hours. So 35 for 4. We need to figure out how much you get paid for 12 hours. So we just fill that in. 12 hours goes in the hour row. So in I had 4 to 12. We're getting bigger, so that tells me that I'm multiplying. Okay, 4 times what is 12? Well, times 3. So up top, I do 35 times 3. Okay, that's 105. So your uncle owes you $105. All right, guys, thank you.